So I'm stupid. Before I get into anything, the reason I look like I just got out of bed, because I did a couple hours ago, and I didn't do anything with myself because I'm getting a bit of an eye infection right now, or something's happening with my eye, so I don't really feel like putting on makeup, because you know, might make it worse or whatnot. Anyway, why am I stupid? Well, there's a ton of reasons why, but I'm not going to be getting into it. The main reason that I think I'm stupid is because previously on Project Jude, I did, you know, some abilities, some cool stuff, and I looked really awesome. I also took David, or Will Smith as you guys call him, or Potato Head, whatever you want to call him, right? This man right here. I took him, put him in my game, and it was pretty cool, right? He was just a temporary kind of character and everything, did all of his abilities. Well, for this video, I had to basically scratch all of that. And you might be wondering, why did you have to scratch it? You know, why did you have to throw all of this stuff that you made in this video in the bin, right? Well, let me explain that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. For this, we have to rewind.
Yeah, it's rewind time. 5 days ago.
So as you know, I was using the Invector system, which I talked about in the previous video. If you haven't watched it already, there'll be links in the description below. But something seemed off about the movement. In terms of, I wasn't completely thrilled by it, and it wasn't something awesome. And in between then and now, I asked you guys on Twitter what you wanted added to the game, and I got a bunch of stupid, silly ideas, but I also got some really valuable, genuine ideas too. One idea in particular said that I should make the movement smooth and fun to play around with. Even running from point A to B should be fun. So with that in mind, I whipped out my PS4, plopped in the infamous Second Son game, and started testing out its movement. And after playing it for a few minutes, I agreed with the comment that I received about the fact that it's important to have enjoyable movement. Now, infamous Second Son accomplishes that exactly. While playing the game, just running around is fun. I mean, yeah, of course, it's awesome to dash around and use your abilities, but even the simple thing of going from point A to B is fun. Or even jumping around itself is really enjoyable. And I want to accomplish that in my game. Because then, as the player, you just feel awesome while playing it, and I don't know how to describe it, it's just a nice feeling of having polished movement. I know it sounds weird, but believe me, if you've ever played this game, you kind of know what I mean by the movement is enjoyable, fun, and just awesome. And if you haven't, I recommend you do so. Or play other games where the movement is really cool. Quake is a good example of this, where the movement's fast-paced and kind of awesome, and it's a free game if you download Quake Champion. So what exactly does this mean for my game? Well, first of all, I had to remove David for a bit. Now I know there is a lot of fans of David, or Potato Head, or some of you called him Will Smith. Either way, there's a lot of you guys that enjoy him, or liked him, but I did have to remove them because there was some issues with his model, and what I mean by that, he was sort of interfering with the movement, and it wasn't working out too well, and it would definitely not make the movement smooth, so I had to remove him. Now, because I'm using Invector, I'm kind of limited to what I can do, and I know this was going to be an issue, and I might stray away from Invector later on, but at the moment I'm using it, and it's fine. So what I did is I opened up the third-person controller script, and basically changed the way the movement worked. Now, I didn't change everything, I just changed the way that person runs and how it kind of collides with the ground, because that's the biggest issue that I was having. Now, these changes that I was adding weren't difficult to make, but instead difficult to get right. Now, what I mean by that is there is a lot of playing around to get the movement to where I wanted it to be. I did manage to get it enjoyable enough, and it's fun to play around with it, but I will be changing it a lot along the way, so stay tuned for that. I also had to make an awesome jump, because Infamous has this really long jump that makes it fun to jump in between buildings and grab onto things, and it's just really awesome. Now, I want to achieve this in my game, so I played around with the jump layer, and I basically just changed the speed, how far he travels, and all of that sort of stuff, and I managed to get a decent jump. It's quite long, and it's quite fun to play around with it. I did some testing on how far you can jump. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of actually what I wanted it to be. Now, once again, I will be kind of adapting it along the way, but for now, we're just gonna keep it as it is. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the jump sometimes is a little bit weird, and the player like bounces when he lands. I don't know how to fix this yet though, because I've only managed to replicate that issue twice. So I'll try to work on that in the next video. And basically, after reworking the whole movement, I have this. So let's play around with this, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So we are in the game right now, and I'm going to demonstrate the jump. So I just created 2 3D cubes to demonstrate it as buildings, and you can actually jump pretty far. There you go, you can see I can jump between them quite easily, and it's quite a big gap, and it's actually kind of fun to play around with, and I can imagine you actually having to do this in the real game, where you have to, you know, jump from building to building, because that's kind of cool. And then also, here is the movement. I also kind of sped it up a bit because I want it to be more fast-paced of a game. So you can see the running around is also a lot faster now, and personally, playing it right now is quite smooth as well, so I really like it. Okay, so the next thing that I decided to add is a sort of falling animation. So usually in Second Son, when you fall from a building, he has this sort of like, you know, landing animation, and that's sort of what I worked on. So if I just go ahead and demonstrate, if I fall off, we can see there's a sort of like a landing animation as such. Now I'm probably going to have to speed it up a bit because it's still quite slow, but here it is on the screen right now. You can see that it's just a nice and easy falling animation. So it's a little detail, but it makes the game a lot better. So after doing the movement and smoothing it out and basically getting it nice and juicy, I went back on Twitter and found another good suggestion. Now this person said that they were confused of the direction of the game and sort of what you're meant to actually do in the game, what's the goal and everything like that. So that got me thinking of what sort of game this is going to be, because in all honesty I didn't really think about what the main goal of the game is and what's going to happen. Now I personally don't like making really narrative games or games based by a story. Now I like including some stories and cutscenes here and there, but I don't want loads of dialogue because I feel like that's really boring, and I personally don't like playing games that feature a lot of dialogue. But basically I came up with this idea. So first of all, sorry about the bad lighting, it's already nighttime and I forgot to record this, so either way we're gonna roll with it. So what is the story? Basically what happens is you play as this guy called Jude, right? And what happened to him is when he was younger, his parents were murdered in front of him, and ever since that sort of haunts him. And I'm not going to get into how that haunts him and how that plays into the story, but don't worry, you'll find out if you play the game. But basically the game's not going to have much narrative, it's going to be more sort of cutscenes or like the story at the beginning. But this whole cutscene story is that ever since his parents died, this regime took over the city. Now this regime basically just controls everyone, tells them what to do, tells them what not to do. Like they put in many rules and stuff like that. If you know how a regime works, or if you've read any books about regimes, then you sort of know what that is. But it's just basically the source of power that comes into place, and they basically like exploit everything. Now everything is good for the regime, or like the high people in the regime, but everything is terrible for like the common people, and that's Jude included. So these people can't really be free anymore, they can't do what they used to do and everything, so everyone sort of hates the regime about that. But they can't do anything about it because, you know, the regime has more power than them. They have more resources. If they do like go against the regime, they can be punished, and they'll lose like their home, their family, everything. So no one can really go against it. But the point is, Jude believes the regime killed his parents. Now, I'm not going to say if they did or they didn't, but basically, they might have, they might have not. You're just going to have to play the game when it comes out. And his goal is to kill everyone in the regime. And how brutal that sounds, obviously there's people who work in the regime that are kind of forced to work there and stuff, but he's basically going to try and murder everyone in the regime, and that's the sort of goal of him. So what's going to happen is you as the player, you're going to play as Jude during night time, where he leaves his house and he has to kill every single person out of the regime in that one night. So it's going to be quite difficult, but you basically have to kill everyone. That's the general goal of it anyway. And that's basically it. And it's going to be one night, so this is the only time zone. It's also going to be quite good because I can do some nice lighting here and there, so that's going to be really awesome. But that's what happens. Now, I'm not going to spoil or like go into what happens once you do complete that. So once you kill everyone in the regime, other stuff will happen. But I don't want to go into that because that's sort of spoiling the game, and you're going to have to play the game to find out. But the comment that the person posted on Twitter really helped me out, because now I have a really awesome story. And yeah, thank you for that. So let's go on to the next thing that I did. Okay, so the final thing that I wanted to work on was some art. I really wanted to create some concept art just to generally have for the future, and also to have it as a reference for some future characters and models and stuff later on. But also I wanted it to give me a sense of direction in terms of what I wanted the player to look like. Now, I don't know this yet, but I might get someone else to model the character model for me, because I am trash at modeling and I don't really know how that works. But I don't really know that yet. I guess we'll see in the future. So what I did was I basically opened up my Surface Pro, I opened up Photoshop, and I started sketching. Now this took some time because I genuinely can't remember when it was the last time that I created some really nice art that was like, you know, serious and everything, but I think I managed to create some decent sketches. Now here they are on the screen right now. They are not finished, it's not like the final image, there's just some, you know, rough sketches that I was creating just to give me a sense of direction. Either way, we have one which is just the line art, and that will be basically probably on the right. Now there's also one in the middle which has some colors. That's just to give me a sense of what color scheme I want to use. It's not great coloring and it doesn't have good shading or anything. Once again, it's just so I know what sort of color scheme I want to go for. And the other one is just a smaller drawing that goes up to the waist, because I can't draw legs or feet or hands, basically can't draw anything, so it's just up to the waist. But if there are any good artists out there who want to create a drawing of Jude, go ahead and do so. Obviously, if you want to, I'm not forcing you or anything. Now, if I do end up liking it, and if you do end up creating some art, go ahead and send it to me on Twitter or Instagram or Discord. All links will be in the description below for that. But if I do end up liking it, then obviously obviously I will, like, you know, mention you in the video, shout you out, leave your links, whatever. Anyway, the technicalities of that we'll get into if I, you know, get any art at all. Now, I hope you guys basically enjoyed this video. Now, I know it was kind of different than the previous videos. It wasn't as sort of, you know, fun, I guess. I think it was still kind of enjoyable, but it kind of featured more technicalities that people have to go through when creating a game, because stuff like this has to be made, such as, you know, reworking the movement and stuff like that. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video anyway. Please leave a like and comment down below if you have, and I will be replying to all of you guys. And also, can we aim for 100 likes? I know it's a massive goal, but either way, I love you all guys, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.